Yeah, so today our discussion will be on the customizing a standard workflow. Okay, so for a developer to customize a standard workflow, he or she has to know the basic understanding of workflow because you just need to know what is item, process, activity. Then only you can clearly identify the appropriate component. Okay, so generally, every module, you have appropriate process, and for that you may have or you may not have workflow. Okay, there is no guarantee that you'll have a workflow for each approval process. So if you consider HRMS leave request, yes, you will have an appropriate, the standard workflow. Or maybe if you consider your OTL timesheets, you'll have approval workflow. Or maybe if you consider your appraisal stuff, appraisal module, and where you have a lot number of workflows. And maybe if you consider the purchase order, you'll have a purchase order workflow. Okay, so as a developer, what we have to know is, if you want to customize a particular workflow, you have to know what is a process and in which scenario your workflow is getting triggered. That we have to have a clarity. Okay, so now what we do is, in our case, we'll choose the mostly used workflow, that's a purchase order approval. Okay, so the first thing is we'll just see how, when it is getting triggered. So based on that, we'll see how do we start with the approval process. Okay, so now what we do is, initially I'll just create a purchase order and just click on approve and see what will happen now. Okay, so as of now, I'll just click on home here. Okay, so I'll go to purchase order screen and click on purchase orders. Click on purchase order here. So here just mention the appropriate supplier details. GE Plastics. Mention the site. Okay. So purchase order will have the headers, lines, and distribution. We'll just check an item and click on approve, and we'll just see which particular workflow is getting triggered. Now assume that you have a requirement to customize a PO approval workflow. So I'll just click on save. This will generate a PO, standard purchase order. Okay. Yeah, the order number is 6114, and now the status is incomplete as of now. The status of this particular purchase order is incomplete. Okay, so we'll just make a note of this one. This is our purchase order number. Now click on approve. Now the status of the purchase order will be changed, or maybe let us see if at all if you have any issues here. The schedules for this one are incomplete. So there is one particular field, I guess, need by date. Make sure that you enable that. Enter the value here, 23rd pip. Click on approve. Schedules for there will be values for all required fields. Any other one? Where there? Okay, maybe at this level you may have no need by date got populated. Distributions, check if it the PO account is, if at all it is not. Yeah, make sure that you enter the PO charge account. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's a reason is because of the shipment PO charge account. That's the reason it did not allow. Now I'll just click on submit for approval. So here you have an option also, print, fax, email kind of thing. If at all, if your email is configured, we can send email approval also. If email is not configured, ignore that. Just simply click on submit for approval. Okay. Now, let's see the difference here. So we should see a standard PO approval workflow should be raised, and yeah, it's still still not triggered. Yeah, it's still waiting. Yeah, now it got triggered. Refresh here, and can you see? No approval was found for the standard purchase order. It could be some approval issue, but if you observe here, this getting triggered, right? PO approval is a workflow which is getting triggered when you click on approve. Correct? So first thing is like identification of the workflow. Even generally, like the functional consultant will tell you like which approval, like what happens when you click on a button and where could be the notification. Those basic level generally functional consultant will provide you. The navigation wise, we should not worry generally. Okay, navigation will always has to be provided by the functional consultant. And the remaining thing technical, now we have to identify, okay, which workflow, which particular activity, which message, that all we have to take care. Now in this scenario, this is our workflow. Now we got this particular subject. If you observe here, by this we can identify what is our workflow name, right? It tells you what is our internal, like what you say, item description name, right? This item description name. So what you can do, WF item types TL. You can just go to WF item types TL. Now just mention here, mention where display name. That's a display name, okay? Now we'll get the workflow item type name. This is our name, right? This is your item name. So, but anyway, to get the standard workflow, so there are two ways of getting the source code. Remember, either you can use WF load utility, or you can just use a workflow developer to get the source code. There are two ways. Correct? Now, so to get the source code from the workflow developer, you have to know what is your display name. But if you want to get the workflow, if you want to get the file using WF load, then you have to know the internal name. Okay. Now we can try from the workflow developer. Click on file, click on open. Now click on database, apps, VIS. Now here just search for PO approval. Can you see PO approval? Just click on visible, just move it to left side. Now click on OK. It will load nothing. It will load the particular workflow from the database. Now it shows the information for us. Okay. If you observe here, even though we loaded only one workflow, it is loading all the dependent workflows here. Okay. Nothing to worry. So generally dependent components will be loaded automatically also. Now before modification, what we do is, let us save the workflow. So what we do is, I'll just save as browse and mention the location. I just got one I'll delete this one. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just save the file xxpmi PO apprv. Okay. I'll save as a file. Sometimes you'll get these kind of errors when you are loading a standard workflow. It could be dependent components, or maybe it could be a version or a patch kind of issue. So, but sometimes you can still ignore, you'll get it. Okay. Now, the first thing is, we got this information, and when we raised our workflow, we got this notification, right? Initially, just try to analyze, okay, now we got this notification. If you open the standard workflow, how do we know what is our process and activity? Because by just knowing the name is not enough for us. By just knowing the notification is also not enough. We have to know the clear navigation, right? Now, this is our notification, right? This is our notification. Now, here, how do you know what is a notification and what is a message of this particular notification, right? Are you getting? So we have a workflow, we have to know what is a process, we have to know what is a notification, and we have to know what is a message. So there are different ways of getting it. The first easier way is, first of all, have the notification ID. Whenever you're getting any error, or if at all, if you want to do some customization, basically try to run it and ask for the notification ID. Now, just based on the notification ID, we can easily find out what is my message. Here message type means it's your item name, item internal name. And this here saying message name, right? PO no approval found. This is the message name. This is a message name. It just shows the internal message name. So now, can't we find this one? So here if you observe, PO in this one, what is our standard workflow name? PO apprv, this is the one. In this one, what is the message name? Scroll down here, and here by default, if you observe, we have an option called developer mode. If you uncheck it, it will display the description, but if you check it, it will display the internal name also, internal name followed by description. Okay, and PO no approver, can you see PO no approver font? This is a message. And here if you observe the content of this one, body, and can you see here it just have some HTML tags, right? Ampersand document number, ampersand document type display, and followed by some other information, right? And PO line details. Okay, so now let us say, assume that we want to customize this particular notification. Okay, let it be like let it be no approver font kind of thing, but we just want to modify it. So the first basic thing is, here the problem is always have a backup of your WFT stuff. Have a backup. Okay. Now what I will do is I'll simply copy and paste so that I will have a gold backup of my WFT. That's the first thing.
Okay.
And next thing is, don't replace the total message. Okay, don't replace this message. And now let us say if you directly modify, how do I know what you have modified with your earlier version and this version? So what we do is, so generally copy, okay, I'll just say copy and paste. Okay, and here I'll just say underscore backup. Got it?
Okay.
Now here what it is having, can you see here? So this is a backup one. So backup one will be as it is. Don't do anything on the backup one. Now on the other one, open that and just modify accordingly. Now I'll just say, I'll just add up a customizer message. I'm just modifying only message right now. Okay. Click on apply. Okay. Save it. Save it. Now save as in the database. Either you can directly save here or you can upload the WFT file. Click on save. Okay. Now what we can do, let us try to kick the workflow again. Nothing but create one more purchase order based on the same existing order. So now we can do, like we have an option, like you can create a purchase order based on the existing purchase order also. Now I'll just open that, F11. It is not showing,
Supplier
right?
name.
No.
Supplier name.
Oh, okay. Correct. Yeah, thanks. So here now, this is the existing purchase order, right? So it was incomplete because, like here we got an issue in the approval mechanism, right? That's the reason it is incomplete. Else generally it should be complete. But now we want to create one more purchase order with the same data. So what you can do is just click on tools, copy document. Very simple. Click on copy document. So it will create one more purchase order with the same data. So this will reduce our effort, like what you say, like creating custom data. Yeah, now we got one more purchase order. I'll just simply click on approve this time. Submit for approval. Now see what happens now for the new workflow. We got the same issue, but just see the message. No, right? No approval was found. So, okay, it did not display our custom content. Did we save in the database? Yes. And PO, where is that? No approval found, right? No approval found. And yeah, see, the issue is it is having HTML body and text body also. Okay, so write in the HTML body. That's the issue. Now try to apply, click on OK and save it. Okay, now try again. Tools, copy document. So generally, like when you're working on, you require much of the test data. So always we have to be aware how do we create the test data also. Okay, submit for approval. Go to the notification, click on home. Yeah, we got third one also. Yeah, can you see customize message? So the basic thing is, the easiest way is, first of all, if you have a notification, and if your requirement is, see, most of the times it could be, the basic could be like a changing the notification. That is a general requirement. Adding up some custom messages. Now let us say we just modified our message, right? Now if you observe the remaining part, these are all normal data only. These are just getting displayed based on the normal variables, right? PO amount, tax amount. But the only difference, if you observe, this particular purchase order lines data, this is getting from a PL SQL package, and this is an HTML content. This is not the normal content. This is HTML content. If you observe here,
Okay.
after purchase order lines, just observe here. After purchase order lines, body, HTML line, HTML, and where is that? Yeah, can you see here? Please find the correct approver. That's okay. And here you see PO line details and P action history. This PO line details is a blob content or LOB content. Just observe that first. PO line details. Okay. Now here in the attributes, just check PO line details. Okay, it is not showing based on. See, sometimes you may have this issue, right? Sometimes what we try to do is open the WFT file using the notepad. Okay. Now here search that, and can you see PO line details, item attribute, and the type is document. The item type is document. It is not just normal varchar char kind of thing. It's a document. That's the first thing. But how the HTML is getting populated into that? How the HTML is getting populated into that? So that is done through a package. And for this one, there is one more standard API. There are APIs which will get called in from this one. And the package, the HTML content is getting populated from this particular package. WF PO notification. This is a package which is getting called in the middle for the purpose of generating the data into that particular attribute. So here, what was our attribute? What was that? Yeah, PO
data.
Yeah, PO line details, right? PO line details, document attribute. So, and can you see there's a method called get PO line details. In this one, we have that particular content which is getting the PO line information, PO line data. And here, if you observe, I just added this custom message. Just check this one, custom column name. Can you see? Custom column name. So here, what are we doing? We TH table. This is a HTML content. So in the HTML, I'll tell you. So generally in the HTML language, if at all, if you want to display any of the table region, I'll just show you. See, sample test.html, HTML body table th okay, td column 1. Okay. Yeah, now it is correct. So let's open this first. So here just mention the border. Right?
Mhm.
And maybe let us say I'll mention this as okay, tr. Yeah, this is better. So in a single row I have two columns, right? If you want to have multiple columns, you can have one more tr. So here if you observe, where is our PL SQL package? So in the PL SQL package, th is nothing but th. So in the tr we have th, right? Th and td both are same. You can consider th is equal to td. Okay. So what are we trying to do is we're just generating the content in HTML fashion. So here to generate in the output, like we added one more custom column there. Okay. So let us say I'll add up one more column now. Custom column 2. I just added one more custom column here. Now this is my column header, right? If you observe, you have a column header and you have a content also, isn't it? This is my custom column name, but you have a value also, isn't it? Right? So now this is header level where you're adding the column names, and the same way in the loop, because a given purchase order you may have a lot number of data, right? N number of data. So this is a line data. This is a line data. So scroll down, you'll see this one which we added up, where we are trying to display the system date. So let us say this is our new column. Now what I will do is, let us say maybe we can display a line number or maybe some kind of thing. Let us say line number. Okay. So how do we get line number? We already using a PL SQL cursor which is getting the information. So we can try that. Line number table of I, and acha, can you see item number? This is item number stuff. So here I can just choose this one. Okay. So let's compile. So generally your customization may not be, you may not require a package to be modified, but it all depends upon which particular workflow you're working on. Okay. Tools, copy document, and approve. Submit for approval. Okay. Click on home. 6116. I think it was not created. Maybe let's see that. Okay, 6118. Tools. Okay, it is not telling exactly what is happening, right? You click on status monitor. Okay, can you see we got 6118 here, right? 6118. Yeah, we got it. So just click on the 6118, and now the issue is the existing status of the package is invalidated, right? Sometimes, this is one of the bigger problem we always face it. So when you are modifying any package which is used with the workflow, just don't try to run the workflow within a second. Just wait for some time so that PL SQL engine will get refreshed, and the latest code will be available in the server. So there's a basic issue which we get most of the times. So here, just check out the status of this one. It's select star from. This is a valid state only, but the workflow engine could not load the latest package. That's the reason it just tells these kind of things. So just wait for a few seconds, it'll get refreshed automatically. And if this happens frequently, and if if it is not getting solved, the workflow engine has to be shut down and it be started again. Why it is coming? Maybe someone personalized, I guess. Help diagnostics. Cannot navigate out of the current form in enter query mode. Okay, fine. Help diagnostics, custom code and personalize. Right? Somebody set default supplier. That's the thing. Okay. That's the reason we are getting the supplier always.
Yeah, it comes under form personalization.
Yes, it comes under personalization, form personalization. Okay.
In a copy, I think you can approve it again because it's not already approved, no?
Yeah, but no, what happened is it is not approved, but a purchase order was, workflow was kicked automatically, right? The workflow was raised for that.
Okay.
I click on approve.
So again, it won't come?
No, there is a way to, there is a,
time when we...
yeah, for that, we have another process we have to consider. So let us say you have submitted a workflow, okay, but it got stuck because of some other technical issue. So the same thing in this case, in our case, I think we can reprocess it, but there is another way we have to reprocess it. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see this time. Click on refresh. Yeah, we could see the latest one. Okay. And can you see custom column name too? Customize message.
Data is in?
No, this one, right? Line number 1002, this one.
Okay.
Maybe we can add up any custom message. We just added the same message, right?
Okay.
So basic thing we have to understand is how do you identify? That's a major problem we generally come across. So always have a notification, and from there you can easily pinpoint these things. And also in our case, if you observe, the message may not be same. Here we got, like our PO was not getting approved. That is why it is getting called this message, right? But generally if the PO gets approved, you'll get another message, or you'll have different scenarios. So we have, when you're working on a particular PO stuff, we have to make sure that in which particular, all you just need to have all the scenarios. In which all the scenarios you have to modify, that also you have to take care. Correct? So this is a major thing you have to remember, and don't try to replace, just have a backup. That's the only thing which I want to tell you. Always have the backup. That's what you have to do. And so how do you deploy? The same process again. The way you deploy WF load upload, that's how we have to do it. WF load upload, and make sure that you mention a force there. Force. You have to mention force. Okay. And generally, like I'll tell you the thing which we have done for our client. Like our requirement was,
it is already, Sridhar, one thing, it is already available, no?
Which one?
In the database, the modified one. Then why you are taking again it?
Yeah, see, this one, the one which is there in the database, yes, it is already modified, and again I have modified.
Okay.
You got it?
That's why you are using WF load. Or else you can directly call that file save as database, that option we can do.
Yeah,
that's the easiest.
Yes, see, the thing is, now generally, like in the normal environment, what may happen is you may not have access to other environments, right? Generally, you may have full access for development instance, but assume that your client is not even providing you test instance access. Then what is the only option? You have to go with WF load, upload utility, or maybe you have to give the command to the DBA so that he will upload, isn't it? Okay. So, and also one more thing, when you're working with the workflow, always have a backup of the workflow of your target instance also. Have the backup of the workflow of the target instance also. What you do is, before uploading your workflow, download the existing workflow just for backup purpose. WF load download and then WF load upload. So provide always 2 commands to the DBA so that like you always have a backup of your existing workflow in the appropriate instance. So now in our case, we have modified PL/SQL package as well as WFT file also, isn't it? It depends. It depends on the requirement, whether you need to modify a package or not. It all depends upon the requirement. But in our case, we have modified the package also because we just modified the HTML, this particular content. Yeah, one more thing. Now, if you observe, it is displaying the content in this white color kind of thing, right? So whenever you see any content in this particular kind of fashion, we can directly say it is a HTML content. Okay. So remember that, you know, it is getting generated from the PL/SQL. And other one, let me show you one more standard workflow. Maybe, yeah, iExpense one. Just see this one. Yeah, can you see here? The content here, it is a blue colored one, right? At this level, it just displaying the workflow information like from address to address, when it was sent, what is the notification ID, and all those things. But if you just see the below information, this shows exactly like a OAF kind of information, right? And this is a OAF region. This is not your HTML region. This is getting generated based on an OAF region. Okay. So we like let us say if you get any requirement to modify this region, so then you know you have to modify the OAF content, OAF region. We cannot do anything from the workflow. Let us say if a client is asking, can we show one more column at this level? Yes, that is possible, but we have to extend the OAF. We have to work on the OAF one, not the workflow level. In the workflow level, you'll just identify, okay, what is the region name? That is what you have to provide to the workflow developer, OAF developer, so that they'll modify the content. Right? So just need to know the process, like get the appropriate component and we modify, always have a backup. That's what we do it. And one more thing is like yeah, so in our standard, like for our client, we have worked on PO standard workflow. So what exactly we have done is, so our requirement was to change the message, and also in the line details we added some extra content. This was another change. And other thing was, you know, like here our client generally, like our client requirement is he migrated from 11 to R12. That's the first thing. The first issue is he migrated from 11.5.10 to R12, and also now generally whenever you upgrade from one version another version, so what client has done is, in the 11.5.10 instance already they have a workflow which is already customized. Okay, but what Oracle has done is the total, like in some of the logic in this new workflow was totally changed. The issue was the PO approval workflow which is there in 11.5.10 is not equivalent to PO approval workflow which is there in the R12. That is the first issue. And client was not aware, there was no documentation at all. Okay, and the client just knows that, you know, client just knows the requirement. He was not aware technically, or there is no documentation about that. So what we have done is, so when you when you know, like when your PO approval workflow, when you're upgrading from 11.5.10 to R12, so there are few components which are upgrade safe, and there are few components which may not be upgrade safe. Okay, so in this one, the components which were upgraded on the 11.5.10 instance, they were not migrated, and we have to customize the R12 PO approval workflow based on the code which is available in the 11.5.10 workflow. So we have to open the two workflows and find out wherever client has added the code. Generally, whenever you add any code, we always mention the client name, like XXCUS or maybe XXMI followed by some component, so that we can easily identify. So, and other way always you can try to find out is wherever you have, like most of the times developer always adds up this backup _ backup kind of thing, BACKP, something like that. Or maybe if at all, if someone adds up, any of the modification, yeah, the backup was one of the thing. Or maybe you can try for the client name, search for the client name, and if at all, if they add up any custom functions or custom attributes, mostly again it should be your custom name only, like XX followed by XX, and that's how you have to name it. Now in our case, let us say if you want to have some custom attributes, yes, still we can have custom attributes, and you just need to name them accordingly. So we had custom attributes also in our case. And other problem what we had is like in 11.5.10, customer has changed the process name also. What customer has done is he changed the process name. What the total process, if you observe PO standard workflow, so we have this number of process, right? But there is one particular process which is a PO top process. Somewhere you will see the PO top. Do you see that PO top? Or maybe I'll enable this one. Yeah, approve PO and GHIJKL PO approval process. Yeah.
Below that.
Yeah, yes, this is one. This is a top process. So, what client has done is in the 11.5.10, he modified this PO approval top process also. So he just had a replica of the same thing. Replay, like that's how it has done. So in some versions, like replacing the component will work, but in other instances it may not work. So we have to be very much careful in this scenario. And also for generally in the PO approval level, there is one particular setting called document types. Just observe this one. Okay, so in this one, just press Ctrl L, search for document types, and it opens the OF page. In this one, can you see purchase order standard? So for these all, you have different types and you have different workflow for each particular type. In this purchase order standard, just click on update. It mentions what is your workflow name. This is nothing but our item name, and what is the starting process. This is starting process. Okay, here we can change it also. If you observe another particular, the components, let us say maybe sourcing. Okay, for that, okay, let us see sourcing. Click on update here. No, it is not using any workflow, or maybe an auction. Okay, maybe blanket. Yeah, we can check this blanket. Yeah, can you see? It is using same PO approval, and it is using the same PO approval top process also. But maybe you have a condition, right? Based on the document type and those things. That's how it will take control. And can you see PO requisition approval? These are requisition stuff. These are requisition level. And in some scenarios, you have an option called owner can approve also. Can you see here? Owner can approve. It means that the one who is raising the approval can approve it defaultly. But in some scenarios, this may not be the acceptable scenario for some of the clients. It all depends. In our case, like our client was having 4 operating units, and in 2 operating units, as per the legislation or maybe their requirement, for 2 operating units they want auto approval, and for the other 2 operating units they don't want to have the owner can approve option. So it all depends on the requirement. Okay, got some idea on the standard approval process?
Yeah,
the only thing you have to understand is always make sure your golden code is always, you always have a backup of your golden code. That is what I feel. The remaining thing is just need to identify the appropriate component. Then that is the only way you have to do it. Only thing is always have a backup. Don't replace. Always have a backup.
Okay.
Okay, and then once it is done, just WF load, upload, force.
Okay. The form notification was the OF notification was there, no, for the I expense?
Yes.
You showed now.
Yes.
How can I identify the region?
Okay, I'll tell you. See, first thing is, before that, let me show you another thing which I have designed, the custom workflow. Then then you'll get more clarity on that. So okay. Yeah, so can you see this one? XXLTWF samples 2017, XXOF region message, person ID 5. So in this one, the sample, this particular sample was, it will display employee data of the of the person ID which you are passing. So now if you observe, I have passed person ID 5, in the other case I passed person ID 10, right? Just click on this person ID 10. Okay, now can you see? This is my person ID. And this is my employee data, right? This is employee data of the person ID 10. And this is a custom OAF region. This is a custom notification as well as custom OAF region, but doesn't matter is a custom or standard. But what we want to know is what is the region, that is the thing you want, isn't it? So always the notification ID plays very important role for the developer. So go to this table, WF notification, and find out what is the internal name and the display name. So this just shows you internal name, right? So based on the internal name, get the display name, isn't it? So now what I will do is, so here, based on this notification, so this is my internal name. Sorry. So here I'll just pass name is equal to, because I don't know what is the display name, right? Based on the internal name, I'll get my display name. So XXLTWF samples 2017. So here you can have the other existing also. You cannot, it doesn't need to delete, okay? Click on file, open. Again, you have to mention connection. This is the way. Okay. VIs. Now just search that XXLT 2017 samples. Do you see that? Yeah, XXLTWF sample 2017. Click on OK. Now, yeah, right? Now we know what is a notification. Sorry, we know what is a item, right? But how do you know what is a process? That is another problem, right? You got it? Now we know what is our item name, but how do you know? Because this particular item is having 4 processes. How do you know which process it is getting kicked off? How do we know it?
Message we can see. No?
Yeah, using message, that is one of the way we can do it. So we just need to find out where exactly, in which particular process this message is used. XXOAF RN message, right? So XXOAF RN message. So click on messages, XXOAF RN message, right? This is the one. Just double click on this one and just see here content of this one, body, and there is no content in the text body, but just check in the HTML body. Can you see? You just have something called XXOAF region, and that is again a document attribute. Just observe here. Can you see? There's a document attribute called XXOAF region. Double click on this one. Now, do you see the content for this one? The type of this particular attribute is document, and you have some content at this level, the value. Now, what is the region? Nothing but your AOL function name. Our AOL function name is this one. This is our AOL function, and we are passing a parameter called, this is a parameter which we are passing from our workflow. XXWF HRMS underscore person ID, we are passing from workflow to the OAF region at runtime. You got some idea, or?
Yeah.
See what
Let me see. You can continue even if you are explaining. I cannot find it out. Let me see the result. What is happening?
Okay, I'll tell you. See, I want to show you one more thing. So let us say this is my OAF region. Okay, this is my OAF region. So here, what we can do is I can run this particular OAF region also. Let's just take the URL till OHTML. Okay, open the browser. Now what I will do is, okay, 1 minute. OHTML. Okay, I am constructing the URL based on this one. Okay, now I just passing my person ID as 10. Just take this total URL and just run it here. Okay, it is asking to mention the password. Okay. Got it? This is the OAF region which we are running standalone. Okay. Now let us say if you try to pass, maybe I'll pass 25 here, the parameter 25. Now can you see 25? The data of 25 user. So this is the OAF region which is designed independently first. Okay. And once this OAF region is ready, then we are embedding the content of this OAF region in the workflow. So how do you embed? So for embedding the you see, it can be anything like an attachment, or it can be your normal HTML content, or maybe images, right? So you have to use the document attribute. In the document attribute, so in our case, for the OAF purpose, what we have in the workflow is you have a document attribute, just mention that the constant value, or maybe you can dynamically pass this particular URL also. You just pass the URL of the OAF region. So the URL of the OAF region should be passed in this particular fashion. We have to mention JSP : all this particular content here. This OAF function, this is nothing but my OAF function, AOL function. Just see here, application developer, application and function. This is my AOL function name. Form web HTML. Can you see? Now this is my exact OAF region which is designed. This is OAF region which is designed. XX Learn, Oracle Apps, FND, Web UI. Okay. So first of all, OAF region has to be designed separately, and then that you know, like based on you just need to provide the link of that. You just need to mention the OAF function, AOL function link, and parameters. Yes, you can pass to and fro. This is how we have to pass the parameters to the workflow or to the OAF. Okay. So always, you know, like based on the notification, you can always get the information. Maximum 90% of the chances you have that. Okay, but now let us say if you want to modify, if your client asks that, can we modify some content in the region? Yes, of course, you have to do in the OAF, not in the workflow. Only thing is you just need to identify which region. Based on that, the appropriate region has to be modified. Okay. Yeah, so I'll stop here, and if I get a chance, I'll try to cover up one more standard workflow. Okay. Yeah. If at all, if you want to add up the if condition or maybe loop condition, we have to get the component from there. Rather than doing everything from scratch, we generally have to get the components from there. WF standard is one of the library for your workflow components. We just need to get from there. Okay. So we'll design samples based on that.
Okay. Okay. Then something about events you told us today.
Business event. Yeah. Business. Yeah.
This, we are doing something with this workflow, the events.
Yeah. Well, what we do is we'll try to invoke a workflow from a business event. See, generally, like the understanding of business event is almost similar to the triggers in the database. Okay. Event and subscription. If this event is occurring, you want to subscribe. Let us say whenever purchase order is raised, you want to subscribe to that particular event. So you want to get a notification whenever purchase order is approved, right? That's kind of an event and subscription. Event is purchase order is getting approved, and subscription is you are subscribing to that particular event. So you have an event and you have to subscribe to it so that it will get kicked. It will get called. That's what it means.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay.